Tom Heritage, Lieutenant, U.S. Naval Reserve.
Richard O'Mara, RD3.
Virgil Chambers, a Raterman, 3rd class, United States Navy.
I think we were at the pier. First, back up how this got to be related to Swifts. The Navy knew in 1965 they wanted boat crews in Vietnam. So right out of ROTC, I was assigned to a pool of officers that were going to spend 3 months at Coronado, getting a lot of every small boat course in the Navy I took, and then we went from there up to Long Beach. That would have been March 1966, and then we took the ship from. Now I'm just saying, coming aboard, it was new to me. I was relieving Paul Bontrop. He was the first division officer, and he was leaving to go to Swift boats. So I checked on board. You're called the Bull Ensign at that point, and one guy, I was assigned to the engineering division, A division, and this guy was so happy because my general quarter station was going to be after steering or special sea and ankle detail, not because that was probably the worst place on the ship, because every time you entered port, you were down in the aft steering. And so to your point, the ship was alongside the pier at Long Beach. Classic look of an APA. I was somewhat nervous, but it was a good group on board. You fit right in, but I was like the most junior ensign on the ship. So you got all the duty, and from there we eventually trained as a crew. While we did a lot of training. While we were 6 months in the yards, what Richard alluded to earlier. Spent a lot of money refitting the ship, but it was an impressive. You come up to the ship, it's sitting at the pier, bringing people and stuff aboard, getting ready to go up to the shipyard at Todd Shipyard's Alameda. So that's a long-winded introduction to coming aboard. But there you go, Rich.
No, listen, it's true. I was, I saw, I went up to join the Marine Corps in 1965 with 2 of my friends, and the Marine was out to lunch, and some chief got a hold of me, an Italian guy, and he just talked me into, hey, sign on the papers, and before you knew it, I was a sailor. And then once I got into boot camp, I liked it. I excelled at all the physical things because I was in good shape. I was a senior. I was a religious petty officer when I went through boot camp, which was really funny because I got the highest scores for Catholics. So I had no problem going through boot camp. I had no problem with the discipline, no problem with keeping clean or any stuff. And I just couldn't wait to get out on the fleet. And ironically, when I was home on leave, before I went to the Bayfield, I saw this Dick Clark show was being run out of Long Beach, California. And I saw all these beautiful girls dancing on ships. And here I'm going. I'm going like, wow, Ma, see you tomorrow. I'm out of here, I was so excited about leaving, I left my orders in New York. So I did.
So showed up without orders.
So I arrived in California without my orders. The Bayfield wasn't there. The Bayfield was out to sea. Another guy named Vinny Volpe arrived at the same time. We went to boot camp at the same time. And he had his orders, so he went chasing the Bayfield all across Westpac. Never caught it. Caught it back in Long Beach. In the meantime, I got into a fight the very first night in Long Beach over my rack. There was a big thing about, who takes the rack, who takes the high side, and who takes the low side. And some guy from Texas, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. I said, yeah, okay, let's go. And nothing happened because we're on the base. Then he invited me out. He invited me to go downtown with him, and he told me he's going to date this girl, and she's got a sister. So I thought he was setting me up, but I didn't know what the rules of the road were. So I said, I'm going to go. If I got to fight this guy, I'll fight him downtown, But he did have a girlfriend. So it turned out to be a good night for me. My first night, But when I saw the Bayfield, that took another 2 months for her to come back from Westpac and pull up alongside. And it was very romantic to me. I walked up on the pier, almost like a movie, and you look at this beautiful ship, and it's, got the numbers on it, and you see the anchors, and the lines are all coming out, and you're the new guy in the block. You got your sea bag, all your other personal gear, your orders, And that makes it difficult when you're going into the different compartments. And, right? You gotta
Yeah.
just drag yourself, and nobody's gonna help you because you're the new guy. But every time you went through a little compartment, the guys are looking at you like, hey, who is that guy?
Yeah.
You know, is he gonna fit in, you know, and, you know, you better pay attention and stuff. But then you get into, you know, and then I'm down below in 2nd Division, and I try to go to sleep, you know, and you go in a rack, and you're hearing water sloshing. I said, gee, I thought I was gonna drown. You know, I thought there was a hole in the boat or something. What the hell is that, you know? Because we were the lowest part of the ship. And, you know, the next day you get up, you go to chow, and things start coming together. So I had no problem.
Wow. Well, there was no doubt I was going to join the Navy. Not because I come from a long line of Navy veterans. My dad was in the Merchant Marines, but I always loved the water. I loved boats, and I did join the Navy. And I remember in Pittsburgh, after the physical and everything, they gave us, I kept thinking, you know, what, did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? And I don't even know what he was. It was a sergeant or something came out, and there were some guys from the Army enlisted there. We were all going to different boot camps. Army, the Marines, the Navy, and we were all there in Pittsburgh I think it was at the Federal Building. And he says, okay, we got lunch chits for you guys. Army, you guys got $350 to spend. Marines, you got $375 to spend. And if you're in the Navy, you got $450. I said, holy smokes. I joined the right branch. And I thought, man, the Navy's probably a little bit better than that. And I was always proud to be in the Navy. Well, went to boot camp. I enjoyed boot camp. I like discipline. I like competition. I like athletics. I really enjoyed it. After boot camp, I got assigned to APA 33, the Bayfield. Went home on leave, you know, as a big hero in the service. Saw my girlfriend, and you know, I was going off and onto the ship and so on and so forth. So I went back to Long Beach, and like I said, I did not enter. You know, I didn't get on board off a pier. The Bayfield was anchored or moored out in the bay, and I don't know whether that was at Long Beach or exactly where it was, but I know you guys were out there, and you just came back in from some exercises.
That would have been San Diego.
It would be San. All right,
Yeah.
there you go. It was in San Diego.
Refresher training.
So it was in San Diego, and I was on the pier, and there was a boat launch that came up, and they said, you know, get on board, and they took me up to the ship, and I had to go up the side of the ladder. It was kind of scary, and the ship was awesome, though. I saw it out there. There was a mist on the water, and I knew that was going to be my home for I don't know how long, but I knew it was going to be my home. I got on the ship, and the ship was rocking to side to side. I started to get seasick. Everybody's ready to go on Liberty. They just came in. The guys were hustling. I went to the personnel office, and I just stood there. I bet you I stood there for like 2 hours with my sea bag, just wondering what the heck, you know, what's going to happen next. But they assigned me to, I think it was 2nd Division, which was a deck. I was a deck 8 for a while, and like I told you before, I moved on to the OI Division up in CIC, which was, I loved it. I loved working with radar. I loved maneuvering boards. I loved the dead reckoning. I loved plotting ships and you know, constant bearing, decreasing range on things. It was just it was a great thing to be in. But I knew that being on the water wasn't something I wanted to do
These guys
for the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.